Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the most popular and influential anime series ever made. The only one that's possibly more influential on a storytelling standpoint, probably the original Mobile Suit Gundam series. And I'm not a big fan. I understand how important it was for the evolution of anime going forward, and the show isn't terrible, but it just never grabbed me personally like it did others. That is, I liked it more when I first saw it when I was like 15 or so, but after rewatching it recently, I don't really feel nearly as highly about it. And the single worst part about the show is the main character, Shinji Hikari. I already know this is going to be a polarizing opinion. There are people who will agree with me seeing Shinji for the whiny little shit that he is, and there are others who will disagree sympathizing with his struggle, feeling that he acts 100% realistically given the situation and his age. I disagree. Shinji Hikari is one of the worst written characters that I have ever seen in anime, and I am going to explain why in this video, as well as compare him to a character that came out not long or afterwards, whom is similar to him but is infinitely better. First, the positives. Yes, there are positives. Shinji was an interesting character. Along with the rest of the main cast, he was a teenager who was forced to pilot the giant robots of the series, known as Evangelions, to fight the monsters of the series, known as Angels. The bulk of the series follows the cast's mental deterioration in this hellish world, and every character is written with complexity and nuance. Well, almost every character, because that's where Shinji's intrigue concludes. While I did feel sorry for his situation, and Gendo is one of my all-time most hated anime characters, there was a lot that felt unrealistic. When determining if a young character is realistic or not, what I like to do is think about what I would do if I was in their shoes when I was their age. In this case, while I would have been depressed and probably even cried myself to sleep every night, I still would have done something. My problem is that he's a pointless reactive character. You could remove him from the story and nothing would change. He does nothing to alter the direction of the plot. His existence has no value in the narrative. Name one thing he did in any of the 26 episodes that changed how we viewed Evangelion. You can't do it because it doesn't exist, and that certainly can't be said for the other characters. A while back, Digibro made a video explaining how Asuka changed everything in episodes 6 and 7, which I'll link down below. I know Get in the Robot Shinji has been a meme on the internet for years, and while Shinji supporters hate this meme, I want to analyze it and explain why it's important. What 14-year-old kid would be given a giant robot and not want to pilot it? I know the Evangelions are dangerous to pilot because of the mental strain imposed on the user, but they don't know that before they use them the first time. If I was him, I would have jumped at the chance to pilot a giant fucking robot. For two reasons. First, I would have been 4 fucking teen years old, and it's a giant fucking robot. And second, I would use it to cope with my depression by blowing shit up, letting out my inner rage. It would calm me down much easier than bitching at my father. And that's another issue. What is with all of the complaining and whining? Did Shinji really think that bitching about what Gendo wants him to do would change things? It's pointless and makes him unrelatable and unlikable. That being said, I could tolerate his complaining if the other problems with his character didn't exist. I'd be annoyed, but if he did anything of significance or had any likable aspects, then I could ignore it, but he doesn't. I would bring up scenes in particular to prove my point, but seriously, just watch the damn show. There's so many obnoxious scenes that this video would be a fucking hour long if I broke down every single one. Although I do recall a scene early on when he's whining to his father, which is just a taste of the annoyance that we'll be getting. My point of comparison is going to be the character Shuzo Matsutani from the anime series Now and Then Here and There. I already compared him to Kirito from Sword Art Online and Subaru from ReZero in my previous video, but Shuzo is also similar to Shinji. He's a child, in his case 12, who's been put through intense suffering and turmoil in his respective show. like I keep saying though, it's how he deals with it that makes him a compelling character. He doesn't just whine about his shitty life, he takes action to attempt to improve his situation. He was forced to be a child soldier who's experienced the horrors of war. He's beaten bloody when imprisoned, and nothing ever goes his way. Despite this, he trudges forward and does minimal complaining, and even when he does, his complaints are always logical, such as bitching out one of the adults who's eager to go to war with the tyrannical empire. And need I remind you that he's 2 years younger than Shinji. Another thing that would have improved Shinji is if he got character development. That's where more disappointment sets in. While I don't believe evolution is always necessary in characters, when a character is this ear-bleedingly abhorrent, seeing growth in his personality would have been a good thing, but we got nothing. In conclusion, Shinji Hikari is infuriatingly annoying, frustratingly unrealistic, and unbelievably unlikable. Whenever I watch him, I just think how I would act if I was in his situation when I was his age. Maybe if I was 8, his attitude would have been reasonable, but not 14. And that does it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to share it around to others you think might like it, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more content in the future, and follow me on Twitter if you feel the need. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.